dog across the country in their parents' basements have done more than every 3-letter agency in this country combined about these files. They have literally used free Adobe and tell other kids how to do it to see the redactions in these files. And this kid makes a very good point. He was like, all of this is planned. They have full control over us and what we think and feel. What they're doing is they're slowly releasing these things. They're seeing how we're responding to it, and they're making sure, which is already true right now, we have photo, video, and text evidence that these people have unalived and eaten kids and done all these things. We have all the evidence in the world. No one's been arrested. And you know what they have on their side? Time. They know that people will just have to keep going to work and keep doing their things. So they're slowly going to put it out like little treats to us. And then guess what? They're already seeing that not one person is in jail. Not a Democrat, Republican, Bill Gates, no one.
Can't say that this girl is wrong. Hello, everyone. Robert Imbriale with you today. Thank you for taking time out of your busy life to come and join Bruce and I as we throw down on Thursdays, where the show where anything goes, except we try to keep it clean, though. But yeah, we'll break some of the rules here from time to time and have a little bit of fun because, hey, that's what it's about. What a week it has been. I was looking, I started preparing the show early this morning, and I was looking at the stories that we covered last week. And honestly, it felt like a year had gone by. There was so much. It's like, whoa, I can't believe it. We're going to get into that. We're going to talk a little bit more about that. I have been, having a lot of fun this week. One of the pieces of advice I shared with you guys on many shows, I think, over the past year or so, was that I know we're feeling a lot of frustration. There's no question everyone's frustrated. And you could see that little girl there, kind of echoing that same thing. Nothing's happening. Nobody's getting arrested. And I think a lot of people have been on the sidelines and waiting for something to happen before what? And what are they going to do when it happens? Then they're going to feel free. They're going to get on with their life. And I've been telling people, stop waiting because, it may happen. It may not happen. Nobody's been arrested, right? The Epstein files, nothing's come of that, as an example. So it may not happen. But so we got to stop waiting and get back in. And it's been interesting because a lot of my clients now, who I haven't heard from, some of them in a couple of years, all of a sudden now are calling and saying, hey, I'm ready to get my business back on track. Can you help? And it's like it's been really busy on this end dealing with all of that. But, they're heeding the advice of stop waiting. The way to defeat the frustration is through action. And the more action you take and getting back with your life and doing the things that you normally do, and maybe tune out some of the distraction. We know, Bruce and I have been talking about this, and there are other patriots as well have been talking about it, how the numbers have been dropping. Week after week, the numbers drop. There's fewer and fewer people tuning in. And it's not because we're bad people. It's not because we don't do a good show. It's not because any of that. It's because people are frustrated. They're tired of it. And a lot of people, I think, have just turned the corner and say, you know what, screw it. I'm just going to get on with it. If something happens, that's great. That's the icing on the cake. If not, no big deal. I don't care. So that's just my 2 cents for today. I want to let you know, too, some people say Rumble's a problem. We are also streaming on X, Renegade Media TV on X, and on YouTube, also official Renegade Media. And I know a couple of you watch on YouTube and are on the chat room on Rumble. Thank you for being creative and making that happen. I think it's important to be smart about the things that work. There was a big, over the last week, I think, this caricature thing has popped up. So I decided, hey, I'm going to partake too. So this is my caricature here. I think it's kind of cool. I kind of like that studio, actually. The lights are really nice. Oh, brother. Fun stuff. We're going to have Bruce do his as well. Speaking of Bruce, let's bring him into the show. Mr. Poppy, how are you today?
Bless America. I'm muted. I'm good. That was a fantastic caricature of you. I like it. So you got to send me the prompt. I'll run it here while we're on the show.
Yeah. So the prompt is you ask ChatGPT to make a cartoon of you and you have to upload a picture. It needs to be head and shoulders shot, and it'll ask you additional questions. It'll say something like, "Okay, Bruce, what is your job? What do you do? What are the kind of things that you're involved in? What do you like?" And then you put, the more detail you put, the fancier the caricature becomes. So I just put, "I'm a host of Renegade Media." It was late last night.
That's all you put?
That's all I put. And it created the mug. I like the mug. It created the whole set and took the picture that I use as a profile shot on a lot of social media and just made that. It's kind of cool. I really kind of like it.
Yeah. It came out real nice. I mean, they with these caricatures, and even I messed around with a couple of things just playing the other day, and I put it on Facebook, and many people saw it. I'm sitting there. It was the picture that I use, for some of my promo stuff, with me with a yellow background and a red shirt on, and I, add this prompt about through Imagine. That was actually in Grok, Imagine in Grok, and they about this polar bear, and so this polar bear comes galloping in, and I was like, "Oh, look, a polar bear! Nice fella. Now we're friends. It's so soft." It did that little 6-second video, so it was pretty cool.
Is Mrs. Poppy in here? Yeah, she is in here. She's saying, "Say hi to Bruce."
She is, yeah. I told her to go over there where all the people are, because nobody comes in my chat. They just pop in and say hi. And then
hey, Joey
leave.
G is in your chat. I'm in your chat.
Yeah, I don't even have it pulled up. So it's fine. It is what it is.
Joey G says he was born a caricature. So yeah.
True statement there. True statement. If anybody knows Joey G, that's true.
He's a great guy. I really love him, and everyone in our chat room is always a lot of fun to see the people who join us here. How you been faring this week? I know it was a mite chilly where you were.
Oh, God bless America. We it got down into the low 20s, and actually the hose that supplies the water to the RV froze solid. But luckily, none of my lines inside or underneath the RV, so I was able to still have water in my tank, use the water pump to have some water going. But yeah, it was horrible, man. Got the space heaters going on, electric blankets. My furnace is under construction right now, so that wasn't even functioning. But it wasn't too bad. One morning I woke up, because the way it's set up in the RV, I closed the door, put the space heater in the bedroom at night. So I come out in the morning, and I checked the temperature in here, and it was 38 degrees in the RV.
Whoa. outside
of the bedroom in the main living area where the heat was not going. So yeah, 38 degrees in the RV. It was much colder outside.
Can you relate to this woman?
Colder than a mother-in-law's kiss. It's so cold my plumber pulled his pants up. This kind of cold will freeze the hinges right off the gates of hell. It's so cold the chickens are lining up to get in the oven. It's colder than a room full of ex-wives at a wedding. This kind of cold will freeze the balls off a pool table. It's so cold the thermostat gave me the middle finger. This kind of cold is meaner than a skillet full of rattlesnakes. It's cold enough to freeze the balls off a brass monkey. It's so cold the Statue of Liberty put the torch inside her dress.
In Florida here, there was, even go down south, way down in Miami, it got down into 30s, and the hot spot in Florida was way down in Key West. It got down into the upper 40s, I believe, during those couple of days when it was like bone chilling cold. Wow. So yeah, I thought I came to Florida to get away from that stuff. At least we didn't have up to our butts in snow. So that's the positive. It did have some flurries, nearby, but if they quit jacking with our weather, who knows? Can the Earth even recover from all the I'm not talking about the man-made pollution that they're saying is that we're destroying. I'm talking about them jacking with weather, the stuff they're spraying in the sky. Some of these videos, the snow, it looked like spider webs when they were, picking it off of the ground. It was very not natural.
I feel a little guilty because we, this past week, were the hottest place in all of the country. We hit 90 degrees here, and it's abnormally warm. It's it's supposed to be in the low to mid 60s here this time of year, and to have a 90-degree day. Yesterday it was 90 degrees, 80 degrees last week, 85. It's like, what in the world have they done to the weather? It's like, it's so hot here. Everything is budding, everything is blooming. it's January. You know what I mean? It's like it's not supposed to be that way. This is our rainy season. Typically, this is where we get the heaviest rains, and of course, there's no rain, and it's very warm and very dry. Humidity was down to 17% the other day. I'm like, are we in Vegas all of a sudden? You know, it's just kind of really weird. Yeah, and then my brother's there in North Carolina, and he's getting all this snow and sleet and ice storms, and people back east are complaining about it. You saw New York City. New York City's a disaster with snow that's not being removed, and so on and so forth. So, yeah, it's really messed up. It's really fascinating to see. People still will go on and say, "Oh, it's perfectly normal. It's just a weird year." Okay, I get weird, but how could we be more than 30 degrees above average temperature for this year?
And we were more than 30 degrees below average.
Yeah. So go figure. Makes no sense. All right.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. So let's go to...
I'm going to send this to you in Telegram, Rob.
What are you seeing in Telegram?
I'm going to send the caricature that ChatGPT made for me.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we talked last week about silver hitting kind of all-time highs, 117, I think it was 121, the way it was. This is January 29th, our last show in January. And boy, what a difference a week could make, huh? Look at it now, $71.70. Whoa, did it drop hard. Yeah.
And it's not just silver. I mean, crypto is in the friggin' tank too.
Yeah.
I've been busy on projects today, but I did it. I heard the stock market's not doing very well either.
I haven't looked at the stock market today, but yeah, $45 dip. I'm going to put this caricature up here. It's going to take me just a moment to get into the system. Kind of nice.
I like it. Makes me kind of buff.
Yeah, huh? You see, it did that. So now people are like, I want to see it. All right, let me put it here, duplicate that, copy this, paste that. There we go. And it'll take a moment for it to propagate over to the other computer where it can be displayed. Let's see if it showed up yet. Not yet. Okay, give it a moment. It'll show up there, and then they'll be able to show it live on the air here. Where is Bruce's caricature? There is Bruce's caricature right there. There he goes. Yeah, you're kind of buff. I like that.
I didn't. It didn't ask me any other questions. I just put it in a photo and said, "Make a caricature of me." And I figured because of the extensive use that I do with chat, that already knows every damn thing about me, pretty much, that I would fill in the blanks. But it just did just the photo.
Just the photo, yeah. Yeah, I think the cool thing about it is it puts you in the location. It puts you in the yeah.
Yeah, I did another one back when we were at the debate in California. Because we were going to that black tie event, so I had to make me one, put me in a black tie tuxedo, and standing in front of the White House.
Cute.
Stock market was down almost 600 today. The Dow Jones is down almost 600. S&P down 85. NASDAQ down 364.
Wow.
So not a great day.
This was gold on January 29th at 5,400, and gold about an hour ago is 4,700, dropped $645. So a lot of people are wondering right now, it's like, was this a bad decision? Was this a bad play to get in? And, my thought is not so much. I think this is just a correction. There may be some profit taking going on. There may be some fear. We know Friday when the new, the FTC chairman was announced, a lot of people don't like him. He's a Rothschild, BlackRock kind of guy, and they're wondering why Trump appointed him. And I think a lot of people got scared off, and that caused the tumble on Friday, big tumble on Friday on silver and gold.
Yeah. On top of that, besides that aspect, some of the profit taking, and then the big boys, the smart institutional money, jacking and playing with the margin stuff and all the paper stuff. They're trying to protect themselves. They want to. They. I think I was talking to somebody who did a lot of research on this stuff, and said that the institutional people need it to come down into the 40s again for them to not lose billions and billions of dollars. I mean,
Wow.
they're already saving themselves, from being totally wiped out. But they jack with it just like they did in the 80s. That was the last time when they had that silver situation that Matt talks about all the time.
Yeah, it's still year over year. Silver does go up. I think there's only been 2 years since 1996 that it's gone down year over year. So if you're thinking about getting in, I say it's a good time to get in. It's time to buy. It's cheaper now, so it may go down. Some people are saying it will hit the 40s again. If it does, save your pennies and get in as much as you can. Coins are probably the best choice for silver rather than the bars and stuff. They sell for a little bit higher than the raw silver bar, so you get a little bit of a premium there. And as I said, our friend Matt will help you out there. VerityMetals.com. You can call him 480-717-9081. And Joey G says, buy the dip. Buy the dip, Joey G. That's the advice. When I hear the word dip, I think about the school I went to because it was called DIP. Believe it or not. Dawson Institute of Photography, DIP. So every time I see that sign in the road, the DIP sign, I think about my college. I asked Grok, I said, hey, Grok, how many pages total have been released from the Epstein files? There were 3 million released this week, right? That was the big dump. I think it was last week, end of last week. So Grok came back and said right now there have been 3.5 million pages released, including 180,000 images, 2,000 videos, with the bulk of about 3 million pages made public on January 30th on 2026, which was the big dump, the big latest dump. And then over the weekend, there was actually more that was dumped. Yeah.
And there's still, everybody's talking about different names. Like that little video you did on the open, the gal's all torqued off, and people are, using technology to get around this stuff. Funny, I've read somewhere that the 3 of the 4 ladies on The View are mentioned in the Epstein files. Whoopi Goldberg was trying to catch a flight somewhere, and then they're trying to bring in Musk into it. Of course, they're want Trump to be all over it. It's just not the case.
Yeah, I'm almost disappointed I'm not in there because I get some publicity. I asked Grok another question. I said, have there been any arrests made? And we've got all these information coming out, and Kash Patel said there will be no arrests, there will be no charges. And Kash, according to him, says this case was a disaster. And what you could see with these pages is there's a bit here and a bit there, but there's no corroborating. It's just like they took the puzzle and threw all the pieces on the floor and said, here you go. There's nothing sorted. There's nothing cataloged. There's nothing in neat little binders or files. It's just this trove of garbage files, really what it is. So according to Grok, no, on the most recent reports and official statements as of early February, no new charges, arrests, or arraignments have been filed against any individuals as a direct result of the Epstein file release. 3 million pages. So the DOJ's position, I don't really like this guy, Todd Blanche. I know some people say he's really good. Guy was a Democrat his whole life. He turned Republican when Trump hired him to be his personal lawyer. He's like, okay, I'll be a Republican. I guess the payout was good. That prior to a DOJ review found no basis in the files to prosecute additional individuals. He emphasized that the massive release allows public scrutiny to verify this. It really doesn't, because it's garbage. There's nothing in there. But the existing of troubling photos, emails, or connections does not automatically enable prosecutions without sufficient evidence of criminal intent, knowledge of and actions. He reiterated that no new charges remain unlikely. Yeah.
That's the elites covering for the elites. I mean, the only thing that we're seeing is, some people's lives being, messed up, losing their jobs, having to resign, different, insinuations, just because your name were, in whatever files doesn't mean that you're guilty of anything. So I understand that they have to be able to prove a case beyond a shadow of a doubt, but you got to think, if even half of the stuff that we have heard over the years of the Epstein stuff is true, that it was, a blackmail operation, some type of thing, to get leverage on people, then, there's got to be, I believe it, I know it like I know my own name, some videos somewhere of people doing really bad shit, videos, photos, and that should be evidence enough in my mind. I mean, or to just make it all public and then let the public, do whatever they do. I mean, I'll let a bunch of people with a bunch of torches and pitchforks, going after people that really, and it's a distraction too. I believe that, this Epstein thing is all, distraction as well.
It is. I think because that's not going to result in anything. and I think the frustration is, we talked about earlier, the frustration is we're not seeing anything happen. We've got all this stuff from 2020. We're 6 years out and, who's been arrested? I haven't seen any. Have you?
A couple of super low level people, for this and that, every once in a while you'll see, this person, for fraud, election fraud, and this, very, very minimal, but nothing to be able to bring the, case to the, to prove the case beyond a shadow of a doubt in the court of public opinion for for them to do something, they're continuing to push for this SAVE Act, and who knows, this Thune is a real piece of work. If this going to happen, Trump pushed it again today.
Yeah, I know.
So
he pushes them into the spotlight so they could fail. Isn't that interesting how he does that?
Yeah.
Yeah. So a little historical context here. The only major convictions tied to Epstein's network are longstanding. Epstein's 2008 Florida plea, procuring a minor for prostitution, and his 2019 federal tax sex trafficking charges. This was before his quote-unquote death, plus Ghislaine Maxwell's 2021 conviction for aiding trafficking, where she was sentenced to 20 years. No other associates. Nobody else. Prince Andrew, Clinton, Musk, Gates. I guess if you have enough money,
Gates is neck deep in it. His ex-wife, came out.
I know.
Him, slipping bennies or like a roofie, antibiotics or something for an STD that he caught, and so that that guy's cooked. He's done.
He's done, but he never get taken down like Soros. It's like, you would think 20 years ago Soros would have been taken out of everything that he's done, but it doesn't happen. And I think this is where the frustration is really boiling beneath. And we've been talking about it for years now, but it's really boiling now at a new level. Public sentiment on X, discussions often express frustration. Gee, what a surprise there. With users calling for arrests based on names and connections mentioned, but no verified reports confirm any such developments. Claims of imminent or recent arrests appear speculative or unrelated. Yeah, that's what's going on, is people are going, oh, this one's going, I keep hearing this. Oh, there's arrests coming. It'll be this week. It's always this week, but it never happens. You know what I mean?
That's the same thing with the RV. The same thing, with everything else that we've been led to believe was happening or coming down the pike. These people, these grifters out there that are continuing to push it. Oh, we were wrong on dates, but it's coming. It's coming. It's imminent. The whales are in place and everything's in place. It's all imminent. So, it's insane.
Yeah, it is, and it really gets on your nerves when I know a lot of people are like, we have to see something happen, and the frustration builds. And like I said, get into action, get back into doing what you're doing. Bruce, you're doing the right thing. You're focusing on your career, getting those things moving. And I've been like buried with customer work, which is great. It keeps my mind off this stuff. I've been posting a lot less in Telegram because fewer and fewer people are interested. Then that audience there is dropping too. And, I think people are just overall, generally speaking, not everyone, overall, people are a little bit frustrated with it. So the question I have for you, Bruce, is Jeffrey Epstein actually still alive?
It is very...
that tells me everything.
I mean, it is very plausible. Some of, the most... Whether it's... manufactured or not, but I saw recently a photo of him, his autopsy photo, and then a photo, and then they asked Grok, and Grok confirmed it, the tattoo of the barbed wire on his arm.
Yep.
So he had this tattoo he said he got when he was 18 years old. Grok verified that, and on this autopsy photo with him laying on the table, there's no tattoo. So,
and the nose doesn't match, the ear doesn't match. So there's a lot of pieces here that don't make any sense. I'm going to go back a little bit here. This is a photo that we found. Looks like it was shot in Tel Aviv, Israel. No surprise there.
Yeah.
The guy in the gray hair. So why does he have two security guards? I have earpieces in, by the way, the two guys standing next to him. So if he's a homeless
they're
guy...
not Mossad, are they?
Yeah, well, if he's a homeless guy, why would they have security guards there?
Right.
Yeah. It was interesting, too. This is asking Grok whether or not that picture was real. Grok came back and said, yeah, it's real. It's a real photo. Clothing and textures, hair, facial show natural randomness and fine detail. The slight blur on the walking legs and background traffic matches real camera capture, not the smeared or warped artifacts common in AI images. Accurate anatomy and proportions. Hands, legs, faces all look natural. AI images often struggle with fingers, that kind of thing. So that photo that we just showed you here, according to AI, is a real photo. Now, let's go in a little bit deeper here. That one doesn't fit here's the one that I was looking for. So this was posted in 2019. I actually remember this when this came out. I actually did post it online. Not saying anything after this. Please do not try to dox me. But last night at 4:15, they took him medical in a wheelchair from cuffed but not. One triage nurse says they spoke to him. Next thing we know, a trip van shows up. We do not do releases on the weekends unless a judge orders it. Next thing we know, he's put in a single man cell and hangs himself. Here's the thing. The trip van did not sign in, and we did not record the plate number, and the guy in a green dress military outfit was in the back of the van, according to the tower guy who let him through the gate. You guys, I'm shaking right now, but I think they switched him out. So in the Epstein files, what they found was this is actually a prison guard in that prison that wrote this, even though it was try to be anonymous. The FBI broke through and figured out who it was. That has come out in the files now. Kind of interesting. And then you look at this one. German ham radio operators are reporting that Epstein has been transferred to Ramstein Air Base under heavy sedation. They report that he was escorted into the base by a heavy military contingency. They may be onto something. One of the ham operators said that he has never seen so many military vehicle escorts since living 1 mile from the base. It's going to leak sooner or later, I'm sure. You have to ask yourself, how in the world could he kill himself in that prison? And if you ask Giuliani came out on a podcast this week, and he said there's no way in the world that very tight prison in New York that he could have killed himself without that being noticed. No way. Oh, by the way, the cameras went out right at the pinnacle moment. The cameras went dead, and the guards were on a break right at that moment. Okay, It doesn't look like he's dead to me. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's plausible. I don't have any proof. There's lots of circumstantial evidence for sure, but then the question becomes, okay, to what end? Was he, to get out of jail and continue living his life like he had, just off the radar and get rid of all that stuff? Is he some type of evidence for what thing coming forward? Because it doesn't seem like there's going to be any real meat in trying to bring these people to justice who are just laying traffic to nobody. She trafficked nobody to nobody.
I know.
And she's in prison. So but to what end? That's the question. To what end?
He's too valuable an asset to have killed him outright. Right? So they have it in their back pocket. Maybe he knows where the tapes are, right? Because apparently every time a politician or somebody famous came in and did something nefarious, there were cameras all over the place. Yep. And they recorded all of it. So maybe he's hid those away and he knows where they are. Maybe he becomes a witness. Maybe he becomes, it's just, I guess, the connections, the network. He could put other people down. You know what I mean? He could speak. And I think the files that are being released is, like I said, it just feels like it's gibberish. It doesn't feel like there's anything there. And it's just a matter of, okay, let's wipe the slate clean on this. It goes away because the public memory is not going to last very long. 2 years, 3 years from now, we're not going to remember Epstein anything. You got all the files. How about the JFK assassination?
Right.
They released everything there. What happened? We don't talk about it anymore. It's done. Cleared it up. So maybe the same game's at play here. Let's get rid of this topic. Let's put all this stuff out there and say, look, you guys, you got it all.
Right. Yeah. Flood the zone with anything and then memory hole it.
Yep. And there's nothing more.
They've done it. They've done it before. I mean, these people, they don't have any different playbooks, so they run the same ops over and over and over again. So.
Yeah, and your point is well taken. To what end would they want to keep him alive? I think, like I said, I just believe he's just too valuable an asset to let go. He's, CIA, Mossad, whatever the connections are there, maybe a combination thereof, and he knows things, and maybe that is enough to use that baseball bat, if you will, to blackmail politicians into doing what they want them to do. We often see politicians come up to the microphone and say the stupidest things you know in your heart that they can't possibly believe. And I think a lot of it is because they're pressured and they're told, you're going out there, here's the script, here's what you're going to say. And they say it, but there's no heart behind it because there's no belief behind it.
Yeah. I mean, the entire, that's the thing. The entire government, it's a dog and pony show. It's bread and circus, right? It's kayfabe. So I mean, that's leads me into that. The next question that I was going to ask you when you ask, is okay. Say something does happen. Everybody's frustrated that there's nothing happening. We want all this stuff to be turned around. Okay, how is our life going to be different if this stuff does change? What is why are we putting so much hope and into whatever may come? What is that? What's the purpose? What do we hope to get other than some vindication of the stuff that we've been talking about for the last 5+ years was all right, which we already know. It's coming, conspiracy theorists, Lewis actually made the shirt. I saw him wearing it the other day. Conspiracy factualist.
Yep.
What everything turns around, or if it doesn't turn around, then what? What's the point? That's my bottom line question. What's the point? Why are we spending so much mental, physical, spiritual energy on this stuff when there's so much other stuff that we could be doing, pursuing, building, fixing, whatever. It's a waste of time in my mind, and it's a lot of it. I don't see the benefit, the cost benefit analysis that I run on a lot of things that help me make decision. The cost benefit there is no benefit to continue pushing, kicking a dead horse.
Well, I'll tell you 3 words: days of our lives.
Yeah.
Right. So
Soap
what is this
opera,
about?
The
This is
drama.
about the drama. And drama makes us feel good, right? It's curious. I have some friends who are like, I gotta pull away, and 15 minutes later, oh, I really couldn't pull away. I couldn't turn it off. You know what I mean? And it's like we're so addicted to the drama of it all, and you really got to pull yourself away because it really does bite into your life. And I see a lot of people walking around depressed, some people angry, some people frustrated. Your body responds to that physically, and you're not going to be healthy if your dominant states are anger, frustration, angst, fear, those kind of emotions. Your body's not going to heal. It's always going to be in a state of disrepair. So you've got to be able to get back to your calm, your centered space, and the only way to do it sometimes is to tune it out. It's going to be there when you tune back in, right? So yesterday was a day.
It's not going to go anywhere for sure.
Yeah, yesterday was a day I did that. I tuned it out. I was doing other things, a lot of work here on the farm to do with everything blooming now because it's January, but we're doing the stuff we would normally do at the end of March, early April in January. So yeah, we end up doing a lot of stuff we didn't know. I tuned it out and it was fine. I didn't miss anything. I came back at, when the sun went down, I came on the computer and caught up and okay, yeah, that's cool. That's interesting. And that's the end of it. And really, it's a habit that you need to build because it has been an incredible soap opera, and it's sometimes hard to take that step back. But for those of you who are trapped in that thing, you got to do it. You got to force yourself to do it. Turn off the TV, change the channel.
Absolutely. I mean, just a run of a couple of things. I mean, recently everybody got all excited, Doge, we're going to, find all this stuff and all this money. We're still shipping money out. If the some of the stuff I read that's in this bill that they just passed and signed, $5 billion for refugees, healthcare and housing and stuff like that. Yep. We're still sending, a shit ton of money overseas. We're doing all this, so nothing has changed. Right, we get everybody worked up, Doge, and now and then the Minnesota thing, all the fraud in Minnesota, and then now crickets essentially. I know they're still allegedly doing an investigation in the background, and then all the ICE thing. Now Trump's backing away from the ICE thing, so the Minnesota stuff's kind of going away. It's quite that it's just a comedy of errors too. I mean, the people up there, one neighborhood up there, they put up some barricades and they were checking IDs to make sure that people were crossing the border into their neighborhood, so they were checking IDs. I thought that was kind of racist to be able to have a border and check IDs for people. So I mean, all this stuff this revelation, the what do they call it? Disclosure. Okay. No, okay. So now what? Still 0 people, not a damn person has been held accountable for any friggin' thing. So
well, there's a little bit.
So what's the point?
Yeah, that's what I was.
And I don't want to be a blackpilling, Mr. Negative about this stuff, but it's just there's this, it's a bunch of bunk.
Well, there are some good things, and Phoebe helped me. It's like, oh, you gotta focus a good side on this too. And there's a few things that are happening because the Epstein file dump. Here's the CEO Borge Brend had many links to Jeffrey Epstein. So the World Economic Forum investigates its CEO over Epstein links. Okay, good. Maybe they get rid of him. Right? That's a good thing. UK leader apologizes for victims of Epstein, giving Mandelson an ambassador job, so he'll be kicked out. I think he resigned. I think
he did. He resigned after
documents revealed.
He was the guy standing there in his underwear talking to a young. Was that guy? Yeah.
Yeah. Mandelson resigned after documents reveal close ties, including $75,000 payments from Epstein. So there's that. And then here you go. CBS 60 Minutes just pulled an episode after one of its contributors were mentioned. What was it? 1,700 times. The guy's name is Peter Attia. His name appeared in the files more than 1,700 times. So, they're not getting arrested, but they're getting kicked out. They're getting fired. They're getting, removed. Some of them are resigning. Yeah. So it's having an impact. It's not what we expected.
Right. And who knows what continues down the road? Because I saw recently, they were opining on X that Pam Bondi at the DOJ's got her panties all in a wad because now this big dump and all these other governments and other agencies outside of the United States are going to start doing some investigating. And if they can't control the flow of information, who knows? I mean, so it's
Why don't we talk about something you're passionate about? Let's talk about BrucePoppy.com. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, Bruce Pop, it's a great website. I put a lot of work into it. The killer piece that I put out so far is the ebook. The website's fantastic. The system is in place. I'm building stuff out, doing all kinds of crazy good videos, and it's all for making positive change in people's lives. Right, we got to break through these false identities, these masks that we wear. We got to change our beliefs, the way we think, and how our brain is wired, and why we do certain things. And then we got to take some actions instead of just sitting around waiting for somebody else to do something for us. That's what I've been pouring myself into. Is develop. I put the ebook out, 7 Mindset Shifts to Unleash Excellence. If you got the first version, that was great. There was a huge flood of those people who got that book, but I did a rewrite to implement the system into the book. So it's a brand new, similar shifts, but it's a whole new ebook. So you can go to 7mindsetshifts.net to get your free copy, updated copy. I'm also I started just the other day, putting the framework together for my second ebook, right? That first ebook was about the pillar number 2, Unlearn to Unleash. This now I'm going backwards, doing book number 1 for pillar number 1, which is Burn the Mask. So I'm working on the ebook about burning the mask and identity, and how simple things, little micro wins that we can do to really make some positive change in our life. And that's what I'm really excited about. And so that's BrucePoppy.com. You can get the ebook. The YouTube channel is taking off. I'm posting great stuff on there all the time now. So it's a work in progress, but things are moving at a very rapid pace. And if you want to get on board, come join us, because I'm going to do it whether you guys that watch me here or not. I'm going to do it. So
don't be shy. Step up. Step up one. Step up all. No question. I've been helping a lot of people with this frustration issue, especially in business. And a lot of people are wondering, like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? How do I get back in the game? And that's something I'm somewhat of an expert in. I've been doing this for many years. Anyway, you can find me at renegademedia.tv or at Renegade Media on Telegram. And if you want to email me, it's robert@renegademedia.tv. If you're one of those people that are just, wondering, like, how do I get back in the game? How do I put my business back on track? We need to talk, and let's set up an appointment. Let's set up a Zoom call one-on-one, and we'll see where you are and see how I can assist you in getting you back in the game. I think that's the way to deal with this right now, is we got to get back in the game. All of us do. And the more that we do, the more that we're going to push forward and help this, this society of ours be much better. Challenging Absolutely. To do it all alone.
And the sessions that Rob and I have, that he's helped me tremendously. So yeah, he knows what he's doing. So I highly recommend 5-star review from Poppy.
Hey, thank you, Poppy. Appreciate that. One thing that's interesting, you have been using Navi as your personal coach, and it's really true for a lot of the general stuff. You can use AI to help you with. I'm frustrated about this. Give me some suggestions of what I can do. Boom, it'll give you some suggestions. The piece that separates a coach like me or a coach like some of the other people that I know are in this industry who are the higher level coaches, right? What separates them is our intuitive abilities, right? So we can feel things, we can get messages, we can get information through that AI can't at this point. I don't know if it ever will. I'm thinking it probably won't. The coaches that are on the lower level, that are just what we call the systems coach. Bruce asks a question and they look in their book and they go, okay, this is the answer. You don't need them for that. You have AI to do that kind of thing. So yeah, if you're looking for the deeper, the higher level messages, find someone who, like me, is intuitive and can pull those messages through, because that's going to make the difference. There's no other way to do it at this point. It's not just a black and white kind of solution. Sometimes the answers come from a quiet mind and a little bit of meditation, and you'll find the inspiration that you're looking for. All right. Back to the crazy world that is ours. Tom Homan, apparently he's worked under 10 administrations.
Wow. I didn't know that many. I know he was a star in the Obama administration. I didn't know 10 administrations. He's been at it a while.
Yeah, and now they call him a Gestapo.
Tom Homan, the ICE chief, ICE, under Donald Trump. He's been the ICE chief for probably 7 administrations, including Barack Obama. And that year, 2012, he deported, I want to call it about 400,000. And Obama gave him a medal. There's a photo of it right there. Obama gave him a medal. Under Donald Trump, he has deported half that. And they call him the Gestapo.
He's got an R. He's working for Trump now. So anyone who works for Trump is, immediately bad.
Oh yeah, in the media's eyes, in the ruling elite's eyes, yes. Anybody that is even remotely close to Trump is just evil as the day is long. The devil incarnate.
I find it fascinating and hypocritical in so many ways, because everything that Trump is doing is a lot of what these Democrats have been wanting for many, many years. Things that Obama couldn't get through, Trump is getting done. It's like he's reducing the price of gas. Obama didn't do that. He raised the price of gas. Biden didn't do it. The price of gas went through the frickin' roof, went under him, right? And you look at that and you say, well, how the price of groceries are still high. I haven't really seen that change yet, but that's planned, right, for this year. We'll start to see a reduction in the grocery prices. I don't know. Those prices to me tend to feel a little bit stickier. When a company realizes they can get, $10 for a loaf of bread, are they really going to back off? Even if their cost of doing business goes down? Not necessarily. No,
they're super slow. I mean, and that was one of the bitches from some of the people in the Commerce Department in Trump's Trump administration 2.0 here was, hey, yeah, the gas prices are dropping like a rock. And, one of the biggest expenses for a lot of these manufacturing companies that do all this stuff is their fuel cost and shipping and creating. And, it's a massive expenditure for these companies. So when the fuel costs drop like they have from where they were at the highs in the Biden administration, these guys are now making more money, because they're always going to pass it along to the little guy. They're not going to take a hit themselves. So they jack the prices up so they can still make money when the gas prices are high. Now the prices are down, they're making even more money. So that's why, continuing to fund these mega corporations that, number one, have been selling us poison almost their entire lives. So if people are still going to Walmart and Target and Amazon and buying the crap that's there, you deserve what you get. I mean, I'm just being completely blunt. I'm done playing games with these people and trying to placate. We want to say we want to do this, we want to buy American, but you can't. Almost everything you buy nowadays and we use on our daily lives comes from China or someplace else. Even though when they say the economy is growing and all this stuff, but people, we're still giving them far too much money. That's the root or the bottom line of my little rant right here.
Yeah, and I think, in the last 10 years, food has become a lot more poisonous, and what they've done is tried to cut corners. We noticed it in the restaurants. We used to go to the restaurants all the time, and then the quality of the food just kept dropping, and the prices kept going up. You'd eat at a restaurant, and you'd be sick for 2 days. You just wouldn't feeling right for 2 days afterward, and it had to be that meal we ate. And so we hardly eat out anymore at all. And, it's like, it's like the ingredient, they cut the corners, they get the cheaper stuff. And, it's really sad because, you'd love to eat out sometimes, love to have someone else cook for us. They cook much better than we do.
Oh man, my mind is in the gutter, Rob. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful what you say. Natalie's been gone for 2 weeks now.
So it's Doritos and Coca-Cola for breakfast. Dunkin' Donuts for lunch.
I actually made some chili today. I made some chili from scratch. It was good. And as soon as this show's over, I'm going to eat some more because it is a little chilly here tonight. So I figure with a little chili, I'll have some chili.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, it's Natalie being gone, the bachelor life is not all it's cracked up to be. So I'm missing. She's the macaroni to my cheese, right? She's the peanut butter to my jelly. She's the yin and I'm the yang, man. So I miss my soulmate. She completes me.
Well, only 2 more weeks.
She's doing good work out. She's helping Lewis, take down, become the governor of California, and take down the evil, parasitical controllers that are out there in California. And now, we hear that's the next big thing. They're investigating all the fraud in California. Okay. I guess I heard that guy that was in Minnesota. He's in San Diego. It's not down by you, right?
Yeah. And I don't really care about the investigations anymore. They don't mean anything. It's like, you haven't arrested Walz yet? $19 billion stolen, and you haven't arrested him? He's still in power? He still goes to work like nothing's happened? Yeah.
And the mayor of Minneapolis.
Frey,
and now the big thing, everybody's, all right, we're going to get the Clintons. They're going to go in front of Congress and be deposed. Oh, yeah, fuck off. Nothing's going to happen.
I plead the fifth, and I can't remember that. To the best of my knowledge, I can't remember anything. Here's Caroline Levitt. This was good.
Are safe and secure. And so the ODNI director is working with the FBI on this effort, and the president wholeheartedly supports both Kash Patel and Tulsi Gabbard in ensuring that American elections are safe. It's the media who has said that there's Russian interference in American elections. You guys have been saying that for many, many years. So the people
in Fulton County.
the people in this room, considering that you all said for many years that Russia interfered in the 2016 election to help Donald Trump, you should all be very happy that we finally have an administration that is looking into that, and we'll be happy to keep you posted. Michael.
She's epic.
She is epic, no question. So the media has been talking about the Russia hoax, Russia, constantly. And Russia interfered. And Russia is the reason that Trump became president in 2016. Russia. So she's like, so you guys should be happy that we're investigating foreign interference, right?
Yeah. How many times did somebody do the Grok search? How many times is Putin on the Epstein files? I don't know.
I didn't see that. I didn't see him on there. I actually went into Grok and I asked Grok, let's see here. Do I have it here? I didn't, no, I didn't copy it in. Anyway, I asked Grok, has anybody put in the 3.5 million documents and had Grok go through them and see if any crimes were committed? And it said, yeah, some people have created their own AIs, because you can do your own AI with that and put all that information in. But Grok says, yeah, but it wouldn't be up to an AI to decide if somebody's guilty of a crime. That's for humans to do.
I got my blood was boiling the other day. I started arguing with Grok about the voter ID thing, and it was the way it was coming. It was sounded just like a Democrat. Oh, you can't have voter ID. All the black people and straight, there's this the disadvantage. The seniors, they just can't get those IDs. Blah blah blah. I was like, good grief, you sound like a Democrat. Just shut up.
I'm really excited that we live in the world we live in right now, and that there are citizen journalists, people like you and I, who grab these little things and we go out and we start filming, right? And here are two that they wanted to find out where the Phantom Winery was. This is kind of interesting.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
So,
Elon Omar, the Devil's Lie wine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I want some of that.
So independent journalist makes damning discoveries. She visits a principal address linked to Elon Omar's winery. Guess what? It ain't there. Listen to this.
So let's see. This is Sweet Bee. Again, that is the address where Ilhan Omar's winery is. You can see that a different winery is here, Punch Down Cellars.
What does this note say?
E Street Crew does not make wine here. They were a client many years ago and have ceased operation. Their operating address is linked to this address like all other client wineries because of state and federal filings. So I wonder what else they have to show for it. What do you think about that?
I think they're just trying to...
So they actually have a note on
Obviously,
the door.
those people ain't the first ones there. Yeah, they put a statement on the door. Yeah,
yeah, they have a statement on the door saying that winery has ceased operations many years ago, and they still have this address listed as their address. It doesn't even exist.
Shocker!
Big surprise, right? And again, this is easy. This little girl goes ask these questions. Isn't that enough to charge? Or
look a little further? I mean, that's what kind of set off the whole Minnesota thing, right? Was that Nick Shirley guy?
Yep.
He went viral. Who knows? Maybe he was given some inside information. If you get into the tinfoil hat stuff, he was a play. It was a play by some of the white hats or whatever to get this information out. I don't know. But yeah, his 15 minutes of fame was doing citizen journalist stuff, going and looking up these Somali daycares where nobody's been, and there's no kids.
Yeah, and he's here in San Diego now doing the same thing and uncovering all kinds of stuff. And again, it's like, well, if we don't see anything happen in Minnesota, Nick, you're wasting your time here in San Diego, even though you're going to find a hell of a lot more fraud. Doesn't mean anything, right? Yeah.
I read an interesting thing I didn't know. San Diego, since 2015, has added like a 430 or 470% increase in the number of city managers, that they have to do all this other stuff. They're just bilking the government of all this money. They're creating these positions out of nothing, and they're doing nothing. So since 2015, a 400% increase in the city manager positions for these different, ideas or ideologies or, pet projects of the left.
I knew I was doing something wrong. I should have become a city
we
manager.
need to get a government job, man. Yeah. That's what we need.
Pays really well. And you get full retirement, too, I hear. It's really, really, really good.
Oh, yeah.
Phoebe has suggested that you and I do a show on interesting uses of AI. And I thought, well, that could be interesting. So I happened to find one today, which I thought would be of interest, being that you are a former real estate broker. Look what AI can do now.
I am excited. I love the backyard. That was a big selling point for me.
DJ is a first-time home buyer, but he didn't go the traditional route with a realtor. He used an AI platform called Homa to find and purchase a $420,000 house in Tampa, Florida.
I saved about 2.5% in commission. So that's $10,500, which I'm going to use for other things around the house.
Rather than signing with a realtor, Homa allows buyers to use AI to search MLS listings for the criteria they want in a home.
When you want to schedule a tour, we have a network of agents that get you into the home. We pay them a certain fee hourly to do that.
When a buyer wants to make an offer, Homa offers AI-generated pricing analysis using data like how long a home's been on the market and comparable sales. But Homa also offers a human broker to help navigate the process.
We have our own human broker that reviews the offer for you, that negotiates with the seller side for you, that reviews the contract, and then helps you also through closing and negotiating with, title and escrow and lenders.
Aiming to save buyers time and money.
For example, on a $500,000 home, the commission, like a 3% commission, would be about $15,000. That's what a seller would pay the buyer's agent. We capture that because we act as the agent. And then during closing, we rebate all of that back to the buyer, less our $2,000 fee.
Critics say home buyers may miss out on the benefit of a realtor's knowledge of a neighborhood and experience negotiating.
That's why we actually have a human expert that helps review every offer, discuss offer strategy, go over the offer pricing, because every home is different.
They kind of walk you pretty much through step by step. They have a checklist of what you're going to go through.
Now, Homa is...
Well, there is, they have to structure, if they're giving giving back the commission that they're earning from the buyers as the buyer's agent, and they're gifting that back somehow. They're doing some funny stuff, because that's really not allowed. And, when you're applying for a mortgage and all, it's a lot more involved than what they're making it sound. As a human broker who's sold multiple millions of dollars worth of real estate over my career, there's certain tools you can use, but there's nothing like the human touch, and the pitfalls and negotiating and mortgage people, and it's AI's. It's a fun, a fun thing to consider, and but there's nothing like the real somebody holding your hand.
Yeah, and it's a tool, certainly, and you could see that there's room for improvement there, because you still have a lot of people involved in that whole thing, and there's still a $2,000 fee, which is interesting. It's just a flat fee. They give you most of the commission back. Yeah. Needs to be worked out, but it's interesting that people are thinking in that way, because how many other professions would you be able to wipe out? And one of the things that they're really afraid of is the medical community, right? You can go in and you could take a picture. I've got this rash. Click, you take a picture of the rash, you put it into AI. AI would diagnose it for you and give you natural treatments for it, right? Didn't know you could do that, huh?
For certain things, I mean, you got to also be careful, because there is nuances, and everybody's different, and so there is for generalized stuff. Even like Dana White, I've seen that video the other day. Dana White said he'd never go to a doctor for his general health ever again. If he needs a surgery, he might consult a doctor, but just to go to the doctor for a checkup or your annual visit, physical, whatever, no forking way. No, there ain't no way. And that same thing for me. I got my significant cardiac history. And I don't even want to talk to my cardiologist, because they're a bunch of tools, They don't. It's so unless I need, like when I cut the tips off of my fingers last year, I needed to go get that taken care of. But for my generalized stuff, I deal with myself. I trust my intuition, my gut, and I do research. AI helps a lot, because it does have access to all the different things. And so there is some stuff that it's given me ideas and things to look into. But ultimately, it's up to you and I to use our own, discernment, intuition, and knowing our own body, rather than going in and having a guy stick a stethoscope on your chest and tell you what's going on. That's just not the case. That doesn't. That's we don't need it anymore.
Yep. Yeah, so there'll be a lot of changes in that industry. There's changes, like I said, in the coaching industry, the real estate industry. There'll be a lot of things in the construction industry that we'll see change as well. Your contractor might tell you, hey, this is the best way to do this. You plug it into Grok and say, is that the best way to do it? And it may come back with solutions that are more effective and less money, just because the guy doesn't know it. And it will become a point where all these professions will have to start using AI. So the doctor will probably have to use AI to be able to diagnose or at least figure out what treatments are, because it'll go beyond their knowledge base, right? And they know the patients
Absolutely.
are going to come in already armed with that information. They'd look pretty stupid if they didn't know it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's helped me tremendously, saved me tons of money when I do things, repairs and upgrades, and fixes things on my RV. I'll take pictures, or even now you can play video. I can turn my video on while I'm connected to Chat GPT and point out, and it can look and see what's going on. And I tell it what my model number is, all these different things, and boom, 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 boom. It helped me rebuild my entire furnace. It's been a invaluable tool to be able to teach me things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
So I love it, and I'm interested to see how much. The other thing that's gone crazy now, what they call Claude, CLAW bot, and now they changed the book because it was too much like Claude, the other AI. So now it's Molt book, and these AI agents that are talking and communicating, these AIs are between themselves. And it can, you can set up a computer to run by itself. This thing can allegedly do all kinds of stuff for you that you don't have to even touch. So That's open source stuff, and people are just now starting to figure this out. So we're just here. Imagine where we're going to be in 6 months. I mean, look at 6 months ago.
Yeah.
To where we are now, and then another 6 months. This is an exponential type of growth situation that's happening, and it could be good or could be bad.
It's the same thing that happened when computers first came around, right? My dad asked me why I wanted a computer. This was back in 1981 when I got my Commodore 64. And he said, why do you want a computer? And I said, well, you can categorize your recipes. I didn't know what else you could do. But it had so many different uses, right? And obviously the gaming, and I learned programming on that and all that kind of stuff. And it was just so nascent at that point. Nobody really knew what you could do with a computer. And then we're still not maximizing what we could do as a computer, right? A lot of people are, we're sending email and surfing the web and shopping Amazon, yada, yada. But there's so much more that these machines will do. They're so much more powerful that we don't know. And AI is the same thing. It's like, is this brand new shiny tool that we don't even know the potential of. We don't even know half the things we could do. So I'm always looking for, okay, how can I use, every project that comes along, how can I use AI to help this? What part of this could AI handle for me? And, you're finding AI is getting pricey. And the one thing I've noticed with them is like, it starts out really cheap and all of a sudden, boom, the prices jump up. Like, whoa, how did it get so expensive? Because running these data centers is not cheap. Yeah, it's interesting. As we go forward, I think more and more of us will be, taking advantage of what AI can do. There's a police station that is deploying drones from headquarters. So they've got them positioned around the city, and they push a couple of buttons. Drone flies up, and they put it where they want to put it. They can see what's going on before they send out, patrol car or whatever to see what's happening.
So today we have launched our drone first responder program. We have 6 drones located across the city, and it allows us to respond to any part of the city in less than 2.5 minutes. So like right now, for example, when my drone pilot Ryan's standing back there, like for example, what's this run right here? All these red boxes you see, this is the map, that's one of these runs.
I guess we're not hearing the audio on that one. So basically he had that map on the wall, and it's a touch screen, giant touch screen, and they have the drones positioned strategically around Dearborn, Michigan, around the city. And though there's a call that came in, there's an accident or whatever, they push the button, which is the closest drone, the drone launches, and you can see it comes back, it charges itself, and it's covered, so it's weatherproof. So the drone would launch and go, they'll send it where they want it to see what's going on. They get the live camera feed from the drone. Isn't that wild?
And that's a good use case. I think, to be able to get, somebody there quicker to see, what type of resources or whatever they need. To get anywhere in the city in 2 minutes, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So it brings up the issue of the DJI drones being banned. I've got 2 of them, and their DJI can't sell them in the United States anymore. Right. And there really isn't a competitor, an American manufacturer that makes drones. And one of the things we're hearing is the FAA really wants, hobbyist drones out of the air for these kind of things. Because we'd interfere with that kind of thing. We're up there flying at the same height those guys are flying, and you can cause interference with them or get in the way or crash them or whatever. So I think the hobbyist drone thing may be coming to an end. I don't think we're going to see many more of them since you can't buy the DJI is the leader in that industry, and that they can't sell them here in the United States anymore tells you a lot.
Yep.
So I better not crash my drones,
over
man.
The government over our lives. We can't do stuff.
Yeah, I know. I don't know if that'll change. It doesn't seem like there's much hope there. They had the opportunity, and DJI was bending over backwards for the government to say, look, we're not taking the data. We're not keeping it on Chinese servers, yada, yada. And the government just said they let the clock run out. Apparently, they had to do this review before December 31st of 25, and they didn't. They didn't listen. They didn't respond. They didn't do anything. They just let the clock run out, and now the ban is in effect. And DJI is not even going to show up at the NAB show this year. They're there every year. So I looked at the show floor plan today, and they're not there, which is sad because I've got a lot of DJI equipment. Love that company. They do such good stuff. All right. What else do we have on the docket here? Trump administration is reclassifying some 50,000 federal workers, making them easier to fire. Trump wants to reduce the workforce. He's going to do it one way or another. So you reclassify them and make them easier to fire. You can do it. Not a problem.
I'm sure there's some judge out there who's going to tell them to stop.
Oh, of course. You know there is. Here's the acronym for liberal, lacking in basic education, reasoning, and logic.
Bruce?
That's a writer downer. I think people want to know that one. Cool. And there's a proposal to put a new star on the Hollywood Boulevard Walk of Fame.
That pretty much covers everybody.
That covers pretty much everyone. You only need one star. The Walk of Fame can be that done. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think that brings us.
Anybody want to admit that they watched any of that Grammy crap that was going on?
No way. And I'm not watching the Super Bowl either.
No, F that.
Yep.
I'll watch the TP USA to see Kid Rock, their halftime show.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, Bad Bunny and all. It's horrible.
It is. Here's something that's not horrible. Maybe we have a chance of saving this country or this state anyway. Hermsforcali.com. If you want to be part of the campaign, we're looking for volunteers. We need people to help out with social media and, making phone calls and fundraising. And there's a lot of positions open. And they are going to do a training call actually in 45 minutes. So if you want to sign up, go hermsforcali.com and click on the campaign.
And you don't have to be in California.
You don't have to be in California. You could be anywhere, and you could work from home, work from your computer, and you don't have to use your own social media account. You could make a fake one or an alternate one, I should say, and you can work from that if you want to. So yeah, we're looking for people to help out, push this message a little bit further because it really needs to be pushed at this point. Hermsforcali.com is where you want to go for that. All right, that brings me to the end of my stack of stuff here. I'm done. What do you got? Anything more?
Well, just a couple of pointers. I mean, I know I've been a negative Nelly, kind of black pilling a little bit today, about just all this stuff. But if you want to watch some comedy stuff, there's a couple of really shining stars in the Trump administration. Scott Bessent in front of Congress just savages these guys. It's great television to watch. Anna Paulina Luna, a bright, shining star, doing really good stuff, pushing these guys to try to get the SAVE Act, on the floor and vote in the Senate. So there is a couple of bright spots of people that are still pushing. So I want to end on a positive note. Even though I'm sick and tired of all the BS and the Patriot mythology stuff that's going on, there is reason to have some hope. And, we got to be the bottom line. It has never changed since the dawn of time. Yeah. We have to be the change that we want to see in the world. Nobody's coming to save us. So let's get it done, man. I'm ready to rock and roll.
According to Master Baggy, Bessent is the bomb. Master Baggy, you are so right. Bruce, thank you for being part of the show today. Really enjoyed it. We'll be back next Thursday with another Thursday Throwdown, and we'll see what's going on. My gosh, so much goes on in a week. I was looking at this stuff. It's crazy how much has shifted in a week. It's like we live in a different world a week later, and I guess we're getting used to the pace because nobody seemed to be freaking out anymore about it. This kind of stuff that happened in the last week would be like a year or 2 years in previous times.
It's an exponential timeline is moving very, very quickly too. If anybody wants, go over to my YouTube channel, Bruce Poppy Show on YouTube, and see what I've been doing lately, and give me some feedback. Tell me what's going on. Tell me if you like it, love it, hate it, whatever.
Cool, awesome. Appreciate you, Bruce. Thank you for watching, everyone, and we will be back, like I said, next Thursday, and we'll have a lot of fun. But until then, don't be frustrated. Take some action. Lots of love to you guys. See you next week.